Hey everybody, Tim Larkin here. The Paradox of Violence. That is the name of my TEDx talk I did in Grand Forks at a TEDx event called Launch. Behind me in the talk, you see a big drone because that's where a majority of the drones are made that support the military. And it was an interesting group of speakers that they had there. I by far was the most out of the box speaker. But my talk, which was called The Paradox of Violence, in the industry, it actually really got a huge response. I was contacted by tons of people after this. The views, they're right around 500,000 views. If you give me 17 minutes, I think you will really get a lot out of this talk. The reason that I'm, bringing it up is because I can't directly promote it on the site. I did have it up for a while, but then they asked us to take it down. And so I'm going to honor that. But I wanted to give you a little background on it and tell you why it's worth your time. When I put this thing together, it was a chance for me to really challenge people because I knew this was going to go out to the general public. And I know that violence as a whole is wholly dismissed by most sane people. They don't think there's any good information to get there. So the challenge was, how can I, in 17 minutes, put something together, string together a bunch of subjects, and then get people to the conclusion that, hey, you know what? It's probably a worthwhile thing for you to study the tool of violence. And it was interesting. There were all sorts of challenges during this thing. And when I flew in, the pictures that you're seeing of me standing on stage here, those are the clothes that I actually flew in. And why am I in those clothes? Not what I planned on wearing, but because all my baggage was lost in the middle of winter in Grand Forks, South Dakota, or North Dakota. Yeah, North Dakota, which is cold. I don't care if you're in South Dakota or North Dakota. If you're there in the winter, it is freaking freezing. So I was there. I had to go buy a jacket right away. I had those clothes for like 2 days because there really wasn't much to buy in North Dakota. So it was pretty interesting, but great university crowd. Really interesting. You see the two kids there that are working with me, they were scared out of their minds. They saw my subject matter. They saw me during the presentation, and I asked them to help me out. And I think what they thought was I was going to go up there and, take a cheap shot on them or something. So it's pretty funny. But even overcoming some of these obstacles, I think my message still really got across. And what I'd really love is for you to, if you'd like to talk, the subscription buttons and all that for this channel are down there, and I absolutely want you to subscribe here. But if you go over to the link that we have for the TEDx talk and listen to it and share it if you haven't seen it, and I'd love to get your feedback on what you thought about it. If you come back over here and give us some comments, so ultimately that'd be great. I hope that you understand that, I try to mix up concepts here and actual useful training, physical training, because that's the two things. What my message is you really have to think about this subject ahead of time and how you'd ever use the subject, why the subject would be important to you. And then you have to have the actual knowledge on how to use the tool of violence. And so I try to give you areas of the human body. I try to show you, how to injure those parts of the human body. I try to give you visual representations to show you why that's useful. But things like this TED Talk ultimately are the things that save people's lives, because it's the concepts, it's the stories that stay in people's heads that they reference when they're about to make a stupid move. And so please take a couple minutes, give yourself about under 20 minutes and listen to The Paradox of Violence and give me your feedback. Thanks so much.